I was just like, is this it? Like, is this my life?
Did you really think that when you got on it?
Full panic. Like a month after we got engaged, I found out that he was perusing Craigslist. Yeah.
Like which section?
Like, I thought he was looking for a job, but he was looking for a job. So, yeah.
That'll make a clip. Welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker pod. I'm your host, Matchmaker Maria. And if you don't know, the format has changed. Every 4 episodes, we have a new co-host joining me on the podcast. And this week's host is no other than Samantha Santos. Welcome,
Hi.
Samantha?
Whatever you'd like, but Sam is like for friends, and I feel like
We're going to be friends.
We're going to be friends.
We're going to be besties. Me, you, and everyone watching / listening. Let's all be besties. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking to Sam about trusting after heartbreak. But before we keep going, I just want to remind that this podcast is for everyone, single, in a relationship. We are here to uncover opportunities, learn from each other, and have better dating experiences. Even if you're in a relationship, don't forget, you still have to date who you're with. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe. You can comment on YouTube. Tell us what you like. And keep what you don't like to yourself. Anyway, on that note, Sam, welcome to the Ask a Matchmaker pod. I am so happy that you are joining us on the podcast. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's chat.
I've heard that you are the host of Soft Launch.
Yes.
Which you do with your boyfriend.
I do, yes.
Okay, I need to know more. But you're also a comedian in New York City.
I am, yes.
Okay, so let's talk.
Okay.
Really quick, where are you from? Because this is a compliment. I know it's going to sound weird if you are not from there, but you have a Jersey face.
That's not a compliment. I'm from New York. I'm from the Lower East Side. So I'm like, I thought we were going to be friends. Now I'm unsure.
Listen, as a person who grew up in Jersey, I feel like I've grown up with you. I feel like everyone I went to high school looks just like you.
Okay.
And to me, it's like you give like popular girl vibes. This is a compliment.
Okay. I like that. I like that part.
Okay?
You're easing your way back into the
All
friendship
right.
zone.
To me, it's like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
But okay, Lower East Side.
The Lower East Side,
You
yes.
were born and raised there?
Born and raised there, yeah.
What do your parents do?
I mean, everyone always says that, but like it was a very poor neighborhood when I was growing up.
Hey, I'm not alluding to anything other than I'm thinking though, like, maybe they're artists.
No, I wish. No, my mom was a teacher, and my dad worked for Con Edison. So send him your complaints.
These are Lower East Side occupations of the 80s and 90s.
Absolutely, union-based workers.
No hedge fund managers.
No shot.
No Patagonia vests.
Never saw one. Yeah.
No. All right. And do you have siblings?
Yes, I have 2 older brothers.
Oh,
so I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
And the only girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was that like?
It was. I mean, I don't know anything else. It was cool. My oldest brother is from my dad's first marriage, so I didn't live with him, but we're 10 years apart, so he was so like protective over me, and it's like at this point I'm a grown woman. So that was a strange little like relationship. And then my other brother that has the same mom as me, we're like 3 years apart. We did not really get along growing up because like I was his annoying little sister, but now as adults, we're like very good friends.
How often do you see your siblings?
My oldest brother lives in Florida, so not often. And my other brother, I mean, all the time. My family, we're Italian, Puerto Rican. Like I have no choice but to see my family.
I like how she got offended. I'm like, you've got a Jersey face.
I don't. I'm like, I'm
Italian, Puerto Rican. That's like literally the genetic makeup of New Jersey.
I know. I'm like wearing an Italian horn around my neck, and I'm like, I look like I'm from Jersey.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a compliment. Yeah. All right. So tell me a little bit more about your podcast.
I started the podcast with my boyfriend, and we call it Soft Launch because I feel like online we like soft launched our relationship because he's a comedian as well, and we wanted to keep it like under wraps because everyone gets in your business and all that stuff. So like everyone would be like, "Are you guys together?" And we're like, "No, we're just like good friends." Like we would do that. So like once we came out, we're like, I like the first picture we ever posted, I said it's giving soft launch, and then it just kind of became our thing.
What kind of photo did we post first?
It was a picture at a show that like it was my first show at Caroline's on Broadway, and a photographer took it, and it was like my leg was like over him, and it was like a very much we were together.
So for those who don't know, a soft launch is
when. Well, I guess in business it means something else, but for me, my soft launch just meant like I'm showing that like we are a little more than friends. I didn't want to like say this is my man, but I was like, ladies, just so you know.
Yeah, and the difference between that and I think in a hard launch is like if no one knew you were dating.
Yeah.
And then you posted a photo of yourself at the wedding.
Exactly. Or for me, it's like if I put it on the grid, it was only on the story. So it was a soft launch.
One of my girlfriends / colleagues just hard launched her kid.
People, that's a big thing now.
Like, no. I'm not talking about infant. I'm talking about a 2-year-old.
Oh, she really did it.
And I was like, girl, I have been on the phone with you.
Wait, she didn't even tell you?
No, I had no idea.
Oh, I thought she just didn't tell like her followers or something.
No, she didn't tell anybody. And I was like, the fuck, where did this kid come from?
Her poor kid. That's kind of sad.
2-year-olds don't know shit. 2-year-olds don't know anything.
Yeah, they don't know anything.
No. Anyway, yeah, but that was like, I remember commenting. I was like, wow, what a hard launch.
That is.
I was like, we've had a lot of conversations since then. Now I'm like, oh yeah, that's why that email got delayed. Okay, that makes sense. Like if I had
you were
known,
in labor,
I was like, okay. So what's the name of your boyfriend?
JC.
Okay, so JC, is he your first boyfriend?
No.
All right. When did you start dating?
My first like boyfriend was at 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I was very young.
Did mom and dad know?
Yeah, they did. I had to like my parents were so on my ass that like I couldn't hide anything. I swear my mom put a tracker on me.
I mean, the Lower East Side, I assume the apartments are like smaller too. It's
Yeah.
really hard to like hide stuff.
My mom would hear my conversations. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And also like I didn't have a cell phone. Like I'm before that time. So like he had to call my house.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 36. Yeah.
Yeah. And he would be like, "Is Sam home?"
Yeah. Hi,
Hi,
Mrs.
Mrs. Santos.
Yeah, literally. This is David. Is Samantha there? Yeah.
Do you still have that cord phone in your parents' house?
No, they just got rid of it. Like I'm talking like a couple of months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about your biggest heartbreak.
So my biggest heartbreak, I was in a relationship most of my 20s, started dating my brother's best friend, which my brother did not recommend that I do that. But I did. And we were with each other for like 5.5 years. We were engaged. Yeah. And like a month after we got engaged, I found out that he was perusing Craigslist. Yeah.
Like which section?
Like I thought he was looking for a job, but he was looking for a blowjob. So yeah.
That'll make a clip.
Yeah, I was bamboozled. Yeah.
Like men seeking men or
No. I think seeking women, but like I don't think there's
what women
real
is going on Craigslist.
That's what I was telling him. I was like, you think
want a blowjob?
That's literally. I was like, you think these are women? These are not
for free.
Yeah, I'm like this is nuts. Yeah. So I ended up finding that out.
How did you find out?
So he kept a phone that was not like hooked up to an internet provider in his phone, like, and he would use it as an iPod, like in the car, like he used it for like to keep music on it.
Oh, like an iTouch?
It was a phone, but it just wasn't. It was his old phone, and like because it had a lot of storage on it, he would just like keep music on it. So we were in his car, and he was like, "Go put some music on." So like opened it up, and it was opened to emails because he would take it home and connect to Wi-Fi, so that he can go on Craigslist, and I wouldn't know because it wouldn't be on his real phone.
Were you like on FDR? Where did this happen?
We were literally on the FDR. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my god! I'm
right
just
by the
thinking about,
Gracie
like,
Mansion.
going to like exit 63, being like, "Oh, don't look at that! Wait a second."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it
oh
was
my god,
wild.
I'm panicking for you right now.
And it was like I almost didn't.
Did you say anything at that moment?
Say anything,
what
girl?
What did you say?
I was like, it took me like. You know, I felt like I felt like an outer body.
The email? Was it like NYC 153?
I actually don't even
know that
remember.
reference.
No, I don't.
Wasn't that like the username for? Yeah, it was the username for Tom Hanks.
Oh, and you got mail?
Yeah.
No, I did.
Got mail.
That's so funny. No, I don't remember anything about that. Like I remember just seeing an email just being like, you know, like when do you want to meet up or something like that. And I'm like, what is this? Like it just, because I really didn't believe he would do something like that. So I was so confused. Then I'm like, you know, immediately I'm like, what? So I scrolled like a little down and then I'm seeing like his request or whatever it was. And he was like, you know, asking for like sexual favors. And then I'm like, you know, I explode. I didn't handle that in a positive way. But I like took my seatbelt off and I'm like, what is this? Like we were on the thing. I'm like, what is this?
Wait,
and
you took your seatbelt off on the FDR?
Absolutely. Because he grabbed the phone out of my hand. Like once I was like, what is this? And I started reading it out loud and he grabbed it. So I was like, girl, I'll end it for us. Like, I don't care. At this point, I took it off and I was like, give me the phone. And he's like, has his hand like outside the window.
No, oh my God.
Yeah. And I'm like
living this right now.
It felt like I was dreaming, you know? Like, it didn't feel like it was a real.
So wait, he got the phone out of your hand?
He got the phone out of my hand and he's driving, but his hand is outside
and he
of the
didn't
window.
throw it out the window?
He didn't throw it out the window.
Coward.
Right?
I would have been like, phone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have never even seen that phone. Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're crazy.
Like, yeah, I don't know why he didn't do that.
So stupid.
Yeah, broke boy behavior. He couldn't afford another phone. That's why.
The Dusties.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh. So I like went on his side, like as he's driving to grab the phone. Cause I just saw red at that point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was not.
Sometimes you hear about these car accidents on the FDR and I'm usually thinking like, oh, there's more to this story.
Yeah. You're like, she caught him cheating.
Distracted driving.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a half Puerto Rican, half Italian princess in the passenger seat who caught the guy. Yeah, of course they crashed.
Yeah. But shout out to him. He's a great driver. Bad boyfriend, great driver. He didn't crash. Then I got the phone. I honestly can't remember the deal, but I got the phone back. And then I just started reading it. And then the kicker was like the dates of the email were the night before and the night of like this engagement brunch that my mom had for us, where he gave me such a beautiful speech. Like he said,
did he give you a good ring?
Yeah, it was a really nice ring.
What'd you do with it?
I sold it on idonowidon't.com.
idonowidon't.com.
Yeah. I tried to give it back to him actually.
And what did he say?
And he was like, no, I gave it to you. I want you to keep it. I asked him twice and then, I was going to ask him a third time. I was like, all right.
Do men sell rings on idonowidon't.com?
I think so. Yeah. People give like full backstories. Like instead of just being this ring is a 2-carat, whatever, they'll be like, I gave it to this girl. You could tell they haven't worked through it. I just said what the ring was and do you want it? I'm not going to give you my story because then you're going to think it's tainted.
Would you ever, now that you said that, would you ever accept a ring from someone that was purchased from idonowidon't.com?
I don't know. I would not want to know.
I don't want to know.
No, because it's like bad juju. Yeah. I don't want to know that.
All right. Okay. So then how old are you when this all happened?
Maybe I want to say 27, 28.
That's a weird age.
It's a very strange age.
Yeah. That's a weird age because you like suddenly become old enough to be able to articulate your values.
Oh my gosh.
You know, frontal lobe being all developed and whatnot.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like you're in a period of all these transitions. And for some people that might be a transition in relationships. For a lot of people, it's a transition in career. Mm-hmm. It's just coming at you in all these directions.
Yeah.
And I think if you dated this person for 5 years, like it seems like you may have started like maybe, I don't know if you went to college. Did you go to college?
I didn't, no.
It's all good. But like if in that period where people are like shacking up in college, or for people who didn't go to college, like that, those years of 22, 23, 24, it's like, well, for some people, they might say like, I'm too young to think about marriage right now. But then 5 years pass and you're like, well, look, I've been with you for 5 years.
Yep.
Frontal lobe developed. I guess this is the next thing on the list.
100%. And all your friends are doing it.
Yeah.
So it was like all of my friends were getting engaged and all this stuff. So it just felt like the natural next step. But I will say, like, when he got on his knee, I felt panic when he did it.
Why?
I was just like, is this it? Like, is this my life? And then like, for me, like.
Did you really think that when he got on one knee?
Full panic. Like there was a video, like someone videoed it and like, I don't kiss him or anything. And it was like later, once I was out of that situation, I was like, oh yeah, I got panicked because we were together for so long and like I felt like, when we met, he was my brother's age. He's like 3.5 years older than me. And I wanted to be the girl he wanted me to be. So like as I started getting older, I'm like 27 and I'm like, am I this girl that he thinks I am? Like he wanted very much like a woman that was going to like cater to him and clean up after him and all that stuff. And like, I am not that girl, but I feel like I was trying to fit that mold. He wanted another mom? 100%.
Could he ever do the bare minimum when you were together?
No. Like now I think about it, I'm like, no. But like I just thought that was just like boys, you know?
Hold on. Like, so I think I was just having a conversation with a woman who called me this week. Her parents actually booked a phone call with me. Mm-hmm. Right? They were like, I guess I know.
Parents.
I know. That happens. It happens more often. Like, I think, you know what it is? your daughter or son, and sometimes their son, because it's happened with both genders, you're listening to your child's problems, your adult child's problems, and you're like, okay, I'm not equipped for this.
Yeah.
And then they'll hear from their friends, oh, have you heard of Matchmaker Maria? And then they'll call my office and they're like, I want to book a 30-minute session or a 1-hour session with my kid to just talk to you. And so that happened last week. This past Monday, she called me and like we had a, it was paid.
Yeah.
And hey, I mean, come on. The podcast is free.
Yeah. But we got bills to pay.
I'm talking to her and I was like, so what's up? I don't know anything about this woman, by the way. So she's 28 years old. She's a teacher. And she's cute. I saw photos of her. I was like, send me your photos. Like, so while we're talking, and I was like, so what's going on? And she says, all of my friends are getting married and I feel like I'm out. And I go, and I would like to say this now to Sam, like go back to 27-year-old Sam, because it's the same thing I'm about to say, which is, that is the first round of weddings in the last 10 years, right? You go through these rounds of weddings. So suddenly everyone's getting married when you're 27 to 29, right? You're broke every summer. All of your vacation revolves around people's weddings.
It's crazy.
Right? The next time that happens is usually around the 32, 33 year mark, right? Because so basically the people that are getting married and when you're 27, 28, 29 are people who met in college or just after college. Yeah. So it's like, okay, next step. Check off, right? The next people that are getting married are people who met in their late 20s, who, they have had like the work experience. They met this person as an adult with bills.
Yep.
Right? So
totally different. Yeah.
32 to 33. And then the next time you have this round of weddings tends to be like, it's very wide and also obviously depends on your socioeconomic circle and whatnot.
Course, yeah.
But I'm thinking it usually happens between like age 36 to 38 where you see the next round of. And what I mean by that is you might have a wedding every year, but there are certain summers where it's like, I remember being 32, which is the year that I got married.
Yeah.
And I had 8 weddings that year.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to pay for my own wedding.
That's crazy.
And so basically what I was doing was I would write out like, just to let them know, I was like, you're coming to my wedding. I expect this back. Here's $300.
That's so funny.
So you seem like generous.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
and witty.
I'm getting this money back. Well, you know why? Because I got married, like all these weddings happened before my wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're coming to my wedding.
Yep.
Give me this money back. So it becomes expensive. And what I'm trying to say is that I think it's very normal to be that age and feel like, well, I've been dating this person long enough. I think it's time now to go there.
Yeah.
Right. And that panic, I think, is your intuition telling you maybe this isn't the route I should be taking.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming your trust obviously was broken by this experience.
Yeah.
How did you learn to, do you feel like you learned to trust again?
Yeah, I feel now that I have, but it took me a really long time.
How long did it take?
So like after I broke up with him, I like immediately got into another relationship because I felt like that was the only thing I knew how to do.
And hold up, before you go, that relationship.
Horrendous.
Was it pendulum swinging? Like, did we date the opposite of what we were engaged to?
Yes, but also bad. Like it was a very bad relationship, like screaming at each other, yelling at each other all the time. It was so bad. I just like ran into like the arms of whoever would take me because I didn't even, like therapy, things like that are not stuff that my family did. So I didn't even really know that was an option.
You didn't have ego.
Yeah, I just was, yeah. I was just
How
like,
can you trust yourself if you don't have like an understanding of who you are and what you need?
Exactly. So I ended up getting into another relationship and I don't feel like I worked on myself or gained trust or did anything up until 2020, until like the pandemic.
Oh.
Because I literally.
What, because you were locked in? You started
I was like in this bad relationship and then I started I was in this bad relationship.
Wait,
and then
were you dating this person in lockdown?
We broke up in like as soon as we got in lockdown. I was like, cannot be with this person.
March 13 lockdown, March 15th.
Yeah, it was like the spring. I was like, get out. Like this. Well, it's crazy because I started doing therapy and like I was kind of brushing another one. I'm like, yeah, this guy, I know I'm not going to end up being with him. But anyway, and talk about other things. And she's like, what are you saying? Yeah. And then it's like I started therapy and it was like a month and a half later. I ended it with him. I was like, I can't do this with him. Got him out. And then it was like, it felt, I felt like time had passed. So like, time heals all wounds, as they say. So I thought like time had passed from my ex-fiance, that I was over it. But like through therapy, I like really worked through it. It almost felt like I had to open that wound again to like work through it. And then I felt super healed after. And I was like, I'm great. And I like wrote off men for a little bit. I was like, I don't want to date at all. I just want to work. I want to know who I am, what I like to do. And we were locked down. So it's like no better time than now. And like I had a great time. Like I learned myself. I was like, I'm awesome.
Where were you living?
I live in like Chinatown, Lower East Side.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't really socially distance there during the pandemic.
No.
I don't even know what that could look like.
Yeah.
Like 6 feet apart. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sure.
No, our apartments aren't even 6 feet apart.
Yeah. Like, okay. So you worked on yourself?
Yeah. I like fully was
What were
like,
you doing?
so I was in therapy outside
When we say therapy, are we talking about like Zoom therapy?
Yeah, it was BetterHelp.
Oh, you did BetterHelp?
Yeah, I did BetterHelp. And so I had briefly, right before the pandemic, tried therapy in person before everything was locked down. And I had a therapist that was like my age. And I just didn't feel like I connected to her at all. And I was like, I think I want like an older woman. And I wanted a woman of color. So I chose it. And I feel like her and I, like it just felt like such an easy person to talk to. She was like wonderful. I didn't feel judged. I felt just listened to, and like it didn't feel, I don't want to say it didn't feel like doctor patient, but it didn't feel like she was like writing everything I said down, like, like that's how I felt with my other therapist. And she felt super understanding, and nothing I said sounded nuts to her. She really understood like my family dynamics and stuff. Like she had like a really great understanding for that.
Where does she live?
She lives in upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's zooming it in.
She was zooming it in. Yeah. So she came
So-
to one of my comedy shows.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you did therapy.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you do?
I was on YouTube perusing like anything like about just, I felt like I presented as someone with self-confidence, but I felt like everything I was doing didn't have that. So I was just like on YouTube finding like women speaking about just like building up their self-confidence. I was Brene Brown, big on her. I was just literally anything. I mean, we were locked down, and like once I started opening things up, it was like, not to capacity, but like I was like, I'm going to stay in and I'm going to just do these things.
Do you feel like putting in that time with yourself, without the distraction of going out, made the process, I don't want to say more faster, but like more effective?
I think it made it easier because I never had like FOMO. Like people weren't out. So I wasn't like, oh, I could be out. Right. I was just home and like having a blast. Like I don't think my neighbors knew that I was like living alone, because I was like talking to myself, like listening to the music I wanted to listen to, watching the shows, like putting on my reality.
Yourself.
Yeah, I was like putting on reality TV. You don't have to hear someone be like, oh,
what's
this
your reality
again.
TV thing?
All Bravo, like Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, The Valley, all of that. So watching that stuff and like not hearing someone be like, here we go, this is so stupid. And
Has that happened to you?
Please, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I feel like all like my exes were like, "Why do you watch that?" I'm like, I like it. It's my comfort show. But now my boyfriend he never watched reality TV before me. Now he's like gets mad if I watch an episode without him.
Yeah, that's how it works. So now in hindsight, do you feel like you missed any red flags with that ex-boyfriend?
Absolutely.
Okay, give me 3 red flags.
My ex-fiance, I felt like I actually never trusted him. I feel like he was always trying to make me feel insecure. Like, yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but please give me the words.
So like little things where like if I got my hair done, right? And he obviously knows getting my hair done. Like I would get into his car, my hair would be all blown out, different color.
I got my hair done today.
Yeah, he wouldn't say anything to me for like 3 hours.
And see, this is one of the key things. I have this thing called the 12-date rule. It's a dating method. And one of the most important things in that is like what I want people to discover is like, how does he treat you when you're having a good day?
Yep.
So like to me, it's like if he can't acknowledge when you look pretty. I mean, the biggest one is like if he makes you cry on your birthday.
Yeah.
Did he ever make you cry on your birthday?
Actually, I don't think so. But he did make me cry on our anniversary. Yeah.
I mean, has he ever picked a fight before you went out with your mom?
Yeah, or with my friends. Yeah.
That to me, that's like the biggest red flag.
Yeah.
So what other red flags did you?
So like that kind of stuff. If he was going out like with friends, he'd be like, I'm going out with a friend, and I'd be like, and that friend
you can't
is.
tell you that name?
Yeah, and that friend is.
Ooh,
and he
that's
and
shady.
Shady. And then when I really just feel like I was being, I was young and like being manipulated, where he'd be like, Samantha, like, when I'd be like, and who's that friend? He's like, you don't need to be so like overbearing. It's
He told you
jealous.
that?
Yeah, he'd be like, you're coming off jealous. And then I'd be like, oh, okay. You know, like I really feel like I had no sense of self. It's like really when I think back, I'm like, I don't even know that girl. But like, yeah, I'd be like, oh, okay. So then I won't ask anything. Like it was so crazy. Yeah. And then he also, I will say, he told me my sister-in-law at the time was pregnant. And my ex brought up something about, man, I feel bad for your brother because women, you know, when they're pregnant are the most unattractive. And then I was like, what?
That's not true.
Of course not. And then he was like, well, it's a statistic that like men cheat the most when women are pregnant.
That's not true.
And then I was like, are you setting me up for like, when I'm pregnant and you cheat to be like, oh, every guy does it.
That's not
so
true.
like he would say things like that. And I would be like, are you being serious? And then he would argue with me about it and then be like, obviously I wasn't being serious.
Oh.
After like an hour. And I'd be like, why did you do this? It was like so bizarre. And like, you know, again, like I say, now I think back and I'm like,
there are men who masturbate to pregnant porn.
I know. That's a
like,
category.
What are you
in
talking about?
It's crazy. Yeah.
You know, I think my husband probably, I mean, I remember being pregnant. That was fun for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're looking back on it with a smile on your face.
With the second pregnancy, it was in lockdown.
Ooh,
hey, after the anxiety fell down,
yeah.
the last month before we popped it out, we popped it.
I love that. Good for you.
It was great. We had a good time. Okay, so I want to learn a little bit now more about, you know, your relationship with JC.
Yeah.
Soft launch with the podcast,
Yes.
and you know he's there.
Yeah.
That's like part of one of your identities.
Yeah.
How easy was it to be with him upon, you know, you feeling like you've healed?
Yeah. So I definitely felt like I was ready to date, and I was like dating for like 6 months before him and I started dating. And I was like, I'm good. I'm so healed. Like it's great. Like nothing
giving healing.
Yeah. I was like, nothing can phase me. And then it was because I didn't really, I didn't care. I was just dating. I didn't really wasn't really super into these guys I was dating. And then when he came along, you know, I was like, oh my God, I really like this guy. And like, I don't want to lose, like it started becoming like, I don't want to lose this guy. And like, you know, like these trust issues came in and I was like, I thought I was past this. This is like, what's happening to me? Like, I felt like I was reverting back. And then I feel like I had to be honest with him. I'm like, I'm feeling like super nervous about like, I'm wondering about what you're doing when you're not around and all these things. Yeah. And I felt like, you know, he didn't judge me for being honest with him. And
does he have a Craigslist account?
Not allowed. He's not allowed to look for jobs. I had looked for them
you
for him.
Want furniture. You're going to use Facebook Marketplace like the rest of us.
Yeah, and you're going to go through my mom.
What do you want, a couch? We're going to go buy a new couch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we're not doing secondhand in this house. No. Yeah, so once he deleted all his Craigslist accounts, no. No, I felt very open and honest with him about everything. And JC's really transparent, like with me. So we had like really hard conversations where before in the past where if I felt like I was being, you know, if I felt like nervous or jealous, I wouldn't say anything because I didn't want to seem like I was being weak or annoying. Yeah. So, you know, I think part of my healing led me to being like, well, I don't care how this makes me look. I need to be honest with how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And he was really receptive to it. And then, you know, just as I started to get to know him as a person, I'm like, oh, he's not my ex. Like, I don't have to worry about this.
I want to go back to what you just said because I think it's really critical for people to understand this, right? I think there's this perception that it is needy to ask for your communication expectations to be met.
Yeah.
And that is not the case.
At all.
Right? Like, at all. It is not needy to communicate to people that you are spending the most time with what your expectations are, not only in how they verbally communicate to you, but the body language that they're using, the physicalness of your relationship. Like, it is expected to communicate these expectations. And if they are not giving you the space to communicate that, similarly, if you're not giving them the space
absolutely
to communicate back to you what they need to feel safe in a relationship, what they need to feel acknowledged in the relationship, what they need to feel to not be confused in relationships, and what to not experience anxiety in a relationship, then you need to ask yourself or them, why is it that we don't have this, you know, space to have these conversations?
Absolutely.
Because it's just that, to me, that's like this is not a relationship. This is a situationship with a label.
Exactly. And it's like, for me, like having conversations, that should just be the bare minimum.
That's
if you're
a given.
But
because
like
in a marriage,
it didn't feel like it.
Should you decide one day to get married and should you decide one day to have kids? And I don't know what sort of goals
and we are deciding yes.
Okay, great. And do you want to have kids?
I do.
Yeah, you cannot be at a place where you're, it's really hard to raise children with someone in a passive aggressive way. Like it needs to constantly be clear because children I always say this, children turn cracks in a relationship into canyons.
Yeah.
And you need really strong communication patterns, like to practice that until you have another human being, because it's really hard. Resentment can stem from not only exhaustion, because that a baby will do that to you, but also like a poor relationship and house management. All these things can create resentment, and it is one of the 4 reasons why people can ruin their relationships.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, listen, I really appreciate that you're going to be joining us for the next few weeks.
Yes.
I feel like we've got a base to go off of.
Yes.
I'm so excited that you're here. We're going to have so much fun over the next few episodes, and I'm glad that everyone got to know you a little bit and your story.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up this episode, we do have an email from a listener, and it kind of pertains to what we've been talking about.
Oh, love it.
So I'm going to read it, and then we can discuss it.
I'm into it. Yep.
So, hi, Maria. Looking for much needed advice. I'm 41 and my partner 40, and I have been together on and off for 10 years. We have 2 kids. Our first was conceived in the first month of dating, and our second came when we got back together during the pandemic. We originally broke up because he cheated. He had done well co-parenting pre-pandemic, and when March 2020 came and we were both single, he stayed with me and sold his apartment as it was easier to co-parent and we saved money. When we reunited, oh my gosh, by the way, this is like giving me rom-com vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think this is going to end well.
This is actually someone's story, right? There's a celebrity who they were divorced. And then who is the guy from Zoolander? Oh my God,
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. This is Ben Stiller's story. Did
they get back together?
They're back together.
Oh, I'm happy. I really liked them together.
Yeah. All right. So when we reunited, he seemed like a changed man. Things felt different, and we took time to work through things. Now that life is back to normal, he's traveling again for work. Last few years have been great, but the past 6 months I have been suspicious. Last week I found another pair of jeans in his bag that aren't his. It brought back all my fears, and I'm worried he's cheating again. Jeans. Okay.
Jeans. Was she walking around pantless? What's happening?
Oh my God. I haven't confronted him yet, but my gut tells me something's wrong. I love him and I love our life together, but part of me is scared to leave. I don't know if I could manage financially or emotionally with 2 kids on my own. Sometimes I even convince myself that I'm okay with this cheating because I can't imagine starting over, but I also know that this isn't sustainable. What do I do? Do I confront him? Is there any hope we can work through this again? Or am I fooling myself? I'm scared to leave, but I'm also nervous to say thank you for reading.
Oh no.
I feel triggered.
Oh my gosh. I want to take this girl out for brunch. I want to uplift her. Like that's
so. Look, the pair of jeans, as innocuous as that is, okay. Let me tell you why I feel triggered.
Yeah,
I think I've been in this position.
Have you?
Well, I was dating this guy, and we weren't living together like officially or in like a legal sort of way, but he was over my house 6 nights a week.
Okay. Yeah. So you were together.
Yeah. And I would find out other things way later, but at the time, one day in the beginning of a relationship when you're trying to show someone that you can like do wifey duties.
Of course, yeah. 100%, yeah.
You're like, oh, look at me.
Yeah, I have to clean.
Sure. Do you want me to do a load of laundry with mine? So stupid. I would never do that again.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I'm like,
the worst.
You own fucking laundry.
Literally. I'm tired.
Like, what's funny is I actually like doing the laundry.
Yeah.
And I do.
I cannot relate.
Yeah. I do my husband's laundry.
Yeah.
But I have never once ironed any of his shirts.
Yeah.
And I love telling his mother that. I'm like, your son irons his own shirts.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. Like she's cool with it. So
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
okay.
that's just cool. Yeah.
But I love saying it to her. Anyway, so I said to him, I was like, hey, I'm about to do a load of laundry. Do you have anything? You're here a lot.
Yeah.
So shit in the hamper.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've got stuff in my duffel bag. So I'm going through his duffel bag. I find a pack of condoms.
No.
And
No.
and he wasn't home when this happened.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So I like just kind of put it back and I was like, okay. And so I was here now. I was like, we got to talk about it. But when are we going to talk about it? And no part of me was, look, I didn't have kids with him.
Yeah.
Like, I understand this.
Yeah, you have kids. It makes it so much more complicated.
Not just complicating, expensive.
Yeah, I can
Right?
imagine. Yeah.
So I thought about that. I also thought about, did I invade his privacy?
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, hold up. Did I invade his privacy?
Yeah.
And that's where she needs to be. Okay. Last week, I found a pair of jeans in a bag that isn't his. So it is not an invasion of privacy if you're going through your partner's bag.
No.
Like in this context.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
me opening up your luggage.
It's not.
I'm just trying to clean.
I'm just trying to help you.
Right.
I'm just helping you out.
Right. Like it would be one thing going through someone's purse.
Yeah.
I get the hell out of here with your double standards. Okay. I don't even let my kids go through my purse.
Purse is very personal.
No.
It's very personal.
I don't go through my husband's briefcase.
Yeah.
You know, so like there's things that are. So what convinced me to talk to him about it was you knew I was going to do laundry. You told me to go in your duffel bag.
Yeah.
So it took me like the next day.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, when I was going through your duffel bag, I found a pack of condoms. Can you tell me more about this? Now listen, this girl was 25.
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe
Of course.
anything.
Of course. And no one understands that more than me.
I don't know any better. I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, those are my friends. I was holding them for him.
Absolutely not. Holding them because that's what you do for friends. Yeah, you just hold their condoms for them.
I called one of my friends like a day later and I was like, let me ask you a question, Matt. Have you ever held someone's condoms? And he's like, that's not a thing.
That's not a thing. It's not a DVD. You're not borrowing it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
We did not break up right away.
Yeah. I got it.
You know what it is? It's like you get to that point, and I think this is where she's at. You get to that point that's low, and you still don't know how to define your own dignity and your own self-respect. And I think that's where she's at.
Yeah.
Like how I've been broken up with him before. So that should give her already, she knows what it's like to co-parent with him, right? I think she can emotionally manage this.
100%.
Right? But it has to come at the price of her acknowledging that she has self-worth, self-respect, and dignity in this.
Yeah.
And she's allowed to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like
she has to.
We don't know, by the way.
Yeah.
Like jeans are different than condoms.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
For all I know.
Yeah. If I found jeans on the FDR, I'm going to go on their side and start punching.
What?
Though on if I find jeans, I'm going to do exactly what I did when I found the thing. I'm going to jump on his side of the car and be like, what are these?
Really?
Jeans is crazy.
I don't know what jeans are. Like I know what jeans are.
Yeah, of course you know.
But like
I was like, look at my legs.
Like why are there jeans?
Yeah, that's because I'm also just like, what is this?
Where did this person go without
Yeah, did she
them?
disappear? Like, what's happening?
Is this really a 90s rom-com where she wore his like button-up white shirt?
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
thinking.
some heels and like walked out.
Super, yeah.
I
Jeans
mean,
are weird. Yeah, it's
I
not like
mean,
underwear or something like that.
Could you imagine?
No.
Well, anyway, that was our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you are not following the podcast, go on Instagram, follow Ask a Matchmaker, follow me, Matchmaker Maria, and I want you to follow our co-host for the next 4 episodes. Sam, what is your Instagram?
Make Me Laugh Sam. Yes.
That's great.
It's a great
That's
quick name.
That's a fantastic Instagram.
Yes.
We're going to include these links in the show notes so you can check them out while you're at the show notes. You're going to find a few other links. Let's say you want to be set up by yours truly. There is a link to go to my matchmaking website and join my database. Let's say you want to do a coaching intensive with me where you get 9 hours of me for 3 whole days in an extremely personalized intensive. There's a link for that too. We just released December dates and January dates. And of course, spaces are limited. And of course, if you want to buy my book, right now we are in pre-order time and I need your support. Again, there is a link in the show notes. Pre-order my book. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your support. Sam, thank you so much for joining me this week.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This was a blast.
I'm so excited for the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to have so much fun. Well, that's it. I don't know if you know this, but we end each episode by saying be lovable, but more importantly, be likable. See you next week.